Hey guys, welcome to the channel. I'm Karges for those of you that don't know me, and today we're talking about how can I make money in real estate with no debt. Let's jump into it. I have a list of 6 ways that you can make money through real estate. Number 1, buy something with cash. You don't have to always invest with debt. Using debt and leverage is my preferred way because you're gonna get a lot better return. But if you're the type of person that doesn't want any risk whatsoever, you wanna be debt free, you want to buy a house and invest the Dave Ramsey way, then buy the house cash. It takes a lot more money, but totally doable, especially if you put your head down and work hard. But that's number 1, straightforward, simple. Number 2 is super similar to number 1. It's buying a house cash, but it also solves the problem of not having enough cash. Number 2, go partner with somebody or multiple people to buy a house with cash. Just like anything, a lot of times it's partnering in business where you're not the expert at everything. You don't have to know everything about real estate. You don't have to know how to rent it out. You don't have to know how to do all the repairs. You could literally have some money, find people that are also like-minded. Just make sure you guys talk it over, have an operating agreement, know what your plan is. Be on the same page. Are you holding it for 1 year, 5 years? Is it a fix and flip, etc.? So have a plan. You can partner with people to where you can come in with little money as possible and keep your share. And then you guys can typically do share the equity, share the ownership, where you make a portion of the cash flow, portion of the expenses would be on you, etc. That's number 2, buy cash with partners. Now those 2, you're actually owning real estate. These next 4 ways, you're gonna make money through real estate or by controlling real estate, but you don't technically own the real estate. The biggest difference is in the equity. When real estate goes up, if you own it, you get the additional benefit of that. So if you're renting out a house, you get the cash flow, but also if the house value goes up and you sell it, you get that profit. And that's kind of like a stock. Buy low, sell it high. When it comes to these, you're not getting any of the buy low and sell high. These are purely trying to get you cash flow, get you a return on your money, basing it in real estate. One of the tried and true best, might be a little biased, best industries in the world. All right, we got 4 more, so let's move on. Number 3 is to be a direct private money lender. I call this direct because you're just dealing with the person directly. We use this type all the time. We buy real estate with cash sometimes. I can buy and buy and buy real estate, but eventually we would run out of money. We have a need for people with private money, and then a private money lender has a need because they want to make interest on their money. You'd be finding an individual or a small group, find out if you trust them, what's their history, what's their track record, are you comfortable with them, and what the plan is. Typically, the type of returns on this is going to be interest on a term base. It could be interest linked to a house. You get the interest for however long it takes to flip a house. It could be more long-term. If someone's going to be renting out a property, Airbnb costs maybe, startup costs, you make an agreement for 5 years and you get your return for 5 years. So it can be interest-based. It can also be profit-based. This typically is going to be used in house flip. With a house flip, there's a larger profit at the end. So then it's like, okay, do you get a share of that instead of interest? So that can also be an option negotiated. So whoever you're talking to, you'll work it out with them directly. The next few are kind of build off of that. You could do a private money lender. Beyond that, you have basically the same thing, but it's more like a syndication or a fund. It's bigger dollar amounts. Some examples of these would be Brandon Turner, Grant Cardone, where they go out and they buy big old apartment complexes or big old mobile home parks, or sometimes it can even be multiple properties. And these are regulated by the SEC. And sometimes they're regulated based on how much money you make or the minimum investment amount. Sometimes it's 100, 150,000, but there are special ones that, smaller amounts can be brought in as well. Those typically are almost always interest-based. You're gonna put it in, they're gonna tell you it's gonna take 5 years for us to turn this property around. What they're gonna do is invest a bunch of money, fix it up, and then either sell it, refinance it. They have an exit strategy, and that's when they're gonna get the money back, send you your money back, and you're gonna be either making interest, collecting payments all along the ways, or you'll collect that at the end. So kind of similar, just less direct and a little bit more long-term typically. So that's a syndication or a fund. Then beyond that, even bigger, you're gonna give private money, but it's gonna be a REIT. A REIT is a real estate investment trust. Some of you might be familiar with these already if you're familiar with stocks, because these big companies, they buy single family homes, apartment complexes, farms, commercial buildings. They can own all sorts of stuff, and they lump it all together as the company, and then the company has gone public. So now you can buy kind of like a share or a stock, and that's what a REIT is. So it's all backed in real estate, best industry in the world. You can put your money there. Some of them will also have, bigger dividends and things like that, better cash flow, a REIT. So that's number 5. Last but not least, and I've talked about this before in other videos, would be Airbnb arbitrage, or you could be subletting a lease, of course, all with permission. You would go sign a lease or rent a property out. You would then rent it out to somebody else. like a sublease, or if it's Airbnb, you're doing it more on the daily, but you're making a profit. The difference between the two rents amounts is how much money you're making. You do not own the property, so if it goes up in value, you don't get that. It's strictly, I gotta rent it out for more than I was renting it originally from. Pretty straightforward, but a lot of people love those because it doesn't take a lot of cash to get started versus some of the other options that we talked about. There you go, guys. That is 6 ways that you can make money in real estate by owning or through real estate. Pick your favorite, go out, make some money. We produce these videos every Thursday, so like and subscribe to make sure you don't miss one. Until next time, guys, peace out.